Film Festival and Fandom Fest in Louisville, Kentucky. And I have the lovely Stephanie Osborn here, who, well, Stephanie, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I really am one of those rocket scientists you hear tell about. I worked in the civilian and military space program for over 20 years, and I worked on a shuttle program, space station, and some defense work. I helped train astronauts. I sat in the control centers for the missions, and I had a friend on board Columbia when it went down during reentry. So it's
my sympathies.
Thank you, thank you. It was quite a tragedy. So, it was kind of strange because I had started writing my first book back when I was working the shuttle program. It's called Burnout, and it's about a space shuttle disaster that turns out not to have been an accident and the ensuing investigation and cover-up. And it started off as a conversation with colleagues because we were brainstorming about how things could go wrong and then what we could do to fix them or prevent them.
Right.
And so I came away from that conversation thinking, you know, what if it wasn't an accident?
Right.
What if it was deliberate? And the concept for the book was born. And I had just finished the rough draft and handed it over to my writing mentor, Travis Taylor, for review and critique to help me polish it when the Columbia went down. And the scenario I chose for my book was exactly what happened to Columbia, with the only difference being Columbia truly was an accident. I got the overflown states, the area of breakup, everything, I nailed it. So it's kind of a strange little coincidence there, and your brain messes with you sometimes because you wonder, was it a coincidence? Did I, you know, no matter how logical you are, that messes with your head. So
absolutely.
So, but he convinced me. I was going to trash it. I seriously was. But he convinced me to go ahead with it, and I did, and it's done very well for me. So, but I did do a dedication at the beginning to the astronauts and the crew.
Very cool. I'm glad you went ahead and went through with it. What other books do you have?
Oh well, I've been quite busy in the intervening time. Yes, I have an entire series right here, which is known as the Cresperian Saga, and it's about Earth's first contact with extraterrestrials when their starship wrecks in our solar system and some of the life pods make it to Earth.
Cool.
And so there's some political intrigue from the different countries where they land. You know, some of the countries want to make them slave labor and force them to build weapons, and some of the less developed countries shot them for alien, monsters and stuff like this. But eventually, the Americans, NASA and the DoD get together with them and build some starships based on their technology.
Very cool.
And they go out exploring and find these bad boys, and who are not nice at all. And so, in the course of things, the bad boys come looking, and so the third book in the series so far winds up being basically a planetary cage match.
Oh no!
Yeah, because they want Earth, and they want the Cresperians' home system also, and they want to incorporate them into their empire, and we don't want them to do that because they think we taste good.
Oh, cattle.
Yes.
They want cattle.
Yes. I've got Travis. Travis and I had been talking, and we decided that we wanted to do some books together ourselves. So this is the first in a series called the Point series. It's Extraction Point. Imagine a top secret secret black op team that is designed to protect the Earth against terrorism by extraterrestrials or time travelers.
Very cool.
Okay? Now, see this guy right here?
Right.
They encounter him in New York when he beats their leader to a pulp and then proceeds to jump off a 10-story building. There's a sudden flash of light and there's no splat at the bottom of the building. After that, you start having, gold starts missing out of bank vaults, locked bank vaults. Fissile material disappears out of Oak Ridge. You know, scientists walk into their offices and never come out.
Really?
Yeah, and so the team has to figure out who he is, what he is, where is he from, when is he from, and what is he up to. Before he does something with this fissile material.
Very cool.
Which is what they're afraid of. And then my most recent series is the Displaced Detective series. I've got 2 books out right now. And a third comes out next month, and a 4th comes out in the fall.
Very cool.
And the concept there is that there are alternate realities where there are real people, real life people that we think are only literary characters.
Right.
We think they're fiction. So, Project Tesseract, which is hidden under Schriever Air Force Base, is a scientific method of accessing these alternate realities. And in several of these realities, they discover a certain Victorian detective with his physician sidekick.
I can guess.
Yes, and in a particular alternate reality, they discover that said detective is supposed to die with his arch nemesis at a specific waterfall in Switzerland. Okay? So they are observing this using Project Tesseract when the chief scientist, Dr. Scott Chadwick, knee jerks and jumps into the middle of the fight and breaks it up, with the end result being that Professor Moriarty goes flying over the Reichenbach Falls to his doom, and Sherlock Holmes goes flying back through a wormhole into the present day.
Very cool.
Where he cannot be returned.
Because that would disrupt their timeline.
That would disrupt their timeline. So now, I wanted to see how far I could stretch the character, how far I could warp the mind without breaking him.
Right.
And so, he's over 100 years in the future. He doesn't know the technology. He doesn't know anybody there. And the majority of people don't believe he's a real person. So he's not only in a different time and a different place, he's in a completely alternate reality that he has to deal with where he never existed before the moment he came through that wormhole.
Very cool.
Okay? Now, about this time, Schriever Air Force Base Security discovers they've got a spy ring operating on the base. And they managed to narrow down its intent to Project Tesseract. So now not only does Holmes have to come up to speed on the modern day, he also has to help Dr. Chadwick prevent the spy ring from doing whatever they're going to do to the project.
Right.
So that's the concept of the first few books, and the entire series I intend to be a series of science fiction mysteries, where Chadwick and Holmes together solve problems that are scientific in nature. So it uses her expertise and his expertise.
Oh.
The next book is.
I didn't realize it was a woman.
Yes. The next book is called The Rendlesham Incident. Those who are familiar with UFO legend and lore know that RAF Rendlesham or RAF Bentwaters was was a site of many very specific UFO encounters in the last century. And in the Rendlesham incident, those encounters crop up again. They start having more UFO sightings in the area. And so Holmes and Chadwick wind up going to the area and investigating a death that is reported to have occurred as a result of an encounter with the UFO.
Very cool.
So I have an entire series planned. The 4 I'm working on number 5. Number 6 is not, I haven't started working on it yet, but it's in my head. Number 7 is basically complete already.
Really?
Yes.
You wrote 7 before 6?
Yes, actually. I wrote 7 before 5, actually.
Really?
And I've got ideas for 2 or 3 more past that. This is it's fun. I've been a Sherlock Holmes fan since I was a kid, and so combining Holmes with science fiction, I'm just having a blast with it.
I always thought the Elijah Bailey Asimov books were kind of along those lines.
Oh yeah, to me, every really good science fiction story that I remember from growing up always had an element of mystery to it,
right,
or that kind of little gotcha at the end, you know? And that's the kind of stories that I like to write, is the ones that just kind of grab you at the end and go, you know, and suddenly you're looking at it from a completely different viewpoint. So that's the kind of stories that I like to write.
Very cool. So Stephanie, what are the plans for the future?
Oh well, actually I'm starting to get into the film business a little bit.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm really excited about it, but it's kind of, it's strange to me, you know, it goes on a whole different schedule than what I'm used to with shuttle missions and stuff like that. But Burnout, they wound up, it's been optioned as a feature film. So we are working on that. We have a number of people interested in directing and appearing in the movie and doing special effects. What we're working on right now is getting investors to fund it. And once we do that, we almost had a group, and the nation's credit rating got dropped, and
right,
they got cold feet. But yeah, we want to do it right. We want to do a really good feature film of it. I've written the, I guess you'd call it the master script? Screenplay, yeah. So I've got the basic screenplay. It's not the shooting script by any means.
Right.
I wouldn't want to even attempt.
Those go through multiple.
Yes, I wouldn't even want to attempt trying to write a shooting script. But I wrote the script because, of course, you have to cut it down a book so much, and I wanted to make sure that the right things got in, and the giveaways didn't, that kind of thing.
Right.
But I'm really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. I've actually got, as a result of that, I had a director approach me and say, I have a particular person I have in mind for a film short. Would you be willing to write the script for a film short? So I came up with a completely separate plot, just a unique plot, and wrote a film short for him, and that's in the works. And so I'm actually starting to get over into the screenplay writing aspect.
Very cool.
So, well, it's fun. I have been told that I write very cinematically anyway, and that people, when they're reading my books, they can kind of see a movie screen in their mind, and it's playing on it. So it really isn't hard for me to take that and adapt it to a script. So I'm having a blast. I've got I've got a sequel to Burnout planned. I've got all of those Displaced Detective books planned. The Cresperian Saga, I'm working on book 4 of it right now. Travis and I are working on the second Point book. I'm having a blast. You know, I can't write fast enough.
Awesome. So you're a former rocket scientist for NASA and now a independent author.
That's correct.
And getting into screenplays.
Yes.
Very cool.
I have books. My principal publisher right now is Twilight Times Books, but I also have books with Curlac Publishing, and I just signed my first contract with Bain Books. So
excellent.
I'm very, very pleased.
Very
it's
cool.
going well.
Very cool. Are you going to be at WorldCon next month or in August?
No, I'm not going to make it to WorldCon this year. I have been to them in the past, but I've got other things going, and I'm not going to make it this year. So
well, I look forward to seeing your future work. And from the Fright Night Film Festival and Fan Expo, is it?
Fandom Fest.
Fandom Fest. Sorry. Sorry, Fandom Fest.
It's a little bit alliterative there, and it can get tongue-tied.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's 5 F's there.
Yes.
But at any rate, from Louisville, Kentucky, with Stephanie Osborn, this is The Weird Review. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.